The first question we like to ask every guest is about a miss or two you've had along the way and something you've learned from it.
Oh, well, I mean, I've made just so many mistakes, right? I mean, there's like, I love the term kind of fail forward, right? I was talking to a friend of mine who's they've got some little kids, and you like watch a little kid walk across the room, right? And so they'll like get up, they'll fall, they'll get up, they'll fall, they'll get up, they'll fall, they'll crawl, they'll get up, walk a little bit more. And they, they make their way across the room, and they're happy and tickled pink and all that sort of stuff. And like, kids don't feel like missteps are failures. They're just missteps. And so in terms of misses, you learn all the best stuff from like screwing up, right? It's like, bad decisions make good stories, right? Um, I think one of my bigger, I mean, my biggest business mistake would have been years and years ago. It was a virtual reality company. I think of it as the best company I ever drove into the ground. And, we wanted to do like shopping mall based virtual reality entertainment. And it sounds okay when you first think about it, but like that business has been failing for decades. I feel sure people have brought you that idea and you've been like, yeah, maybe not. But that was one of the ones where I had this vision in mind where there's this awesome store and it's in a really big LA based shopping mall. And there's going to be a line around the block. There's people going to love the thing. It's and all of that. It's just like, and it never came true, right? It just never, ever worked. And even though by the end of the first day, like the end of opening day, I knew we weren't going to be able to do the traffic. We weren't going to be able to sell the food. We thought, we did a whole bunch of things. Even though I knew I had like a spectacular failure on my hands, or an expensively spectacular failure on my hands, I wasn't quite willing to let go of it. I wasn't quite willing to listen. I wanted the whole thing to work exactly the way I imagined the whole thing should work. And I dug in a little bit on that, and it took me, and it cost, right? It cost money. It was embarrassing. It was a slog. It was no fun. It was, all the things that like a failing business is. It was that. What came out of it at the other end of it, eventually, when we finally had to close the store, what came out of it was we had these little internet kiosks that people could go. And what came out of it was one of the first internet service provider companies in San Francisco, right? And so we kind of like pulled from the ashes the one thing that showed some promise. And the thing about it, and what I would categorize as a misstep in that adventure was I could have done that like 6 months sooner, right? So I don't say give up. You have to love your dream of your business. You have to love it and stick with it long after it makes sense to quit. But at the same time, it's important to be able to kind of unpack it a little bit and look at the things that are working. Say, you know what? That game machine over there, that's not working, but this internet kiosk, maybe let's lean into that a little bit more. And GoalBoss helps with that as well, because we can measure what's working and what's not, and gets us closer and faster to those choices. So the virtual reality store was probably one of my biggest misses. And it took me longer to pull some success out of the ashes than maybe it should have.